In this video, I'm going to give you an overview of the FlowCV user interface. Let's start with navigating around the interface. We have three different main sections: the editor, the properties, and the viewer. These sections can be docked and undocked and rearranged to customize the interface however you want. You can create nodes in several different ways. First, you can right-click, select a node from the various categories, and it will be created. If you drag from the output of a node and you don't connect it to anything, it'll prompt to create a node. You can then select, create the node, and it'll be automatically connected. You can also hit the tab key, search for a particular node, and create it, and then connect it manually. Nodes are color-coded by category for easy visual identification. To connect nodes, simply drag from the output of one node to the input of another. If a connection is not allowed or is incompatible, you will see a prompt showing that. To delete a connection, simply select it, it'll become highlighted, and then press the delete key. Similarly, for deleting a node, simply highlight it, hit the delete key, it'll remove the node and any connections to it. If you want to delete multiple nodes, you can click and drag and select them and hit the delete key. There are various shortcut keys available for quick access to certain functions. For example, S will show your flow direction. F will fit all or fit selected. Tab key will bring up a window allowing you to search and create new nodes. Delete key, delete a node. Under the File menu, you have Control N for New, Control L for Load, Control S for Save. Under Edit, Control X to cut, Control C to copy, Control V to paste. Another nice feature to be aware of is that when you copy and paste nodes, it's actually storing that data in the JSON format. So if I select these nodes and copy them, and then paste them into a text editor, I can see all the parameters about the connections, the location, all the parameters of the node. I can then actually make changes to this, copy it back, and then paste it in, and I'll get those settings into my new node. This is also useful if you want to send someone your node settings without having to send them a whole file. You can copy and paste the nodes that you want, paste them into, say, Discord or wherever you want, and then someone can copy that and paste it into their FlowCV and get the same node configuration and setup that you have. To work with the node's properties, simply double-click on the node. Its properties will appear in the Properties panel. If you double-click on multiple nodes, they'll add their properties to the panel as well, and you can scroll to get to them. If you want to find a certain node within the property list, if you double-click on it again, it'll change the highlight to that node so you can easily find it in the list. You can also collapse nodes, keep them in the list, but get them out of the way, and then expand them as needed. or simply just remove them and then double click to add them back when you need them. Each node is going to have its own set of unique property controls. They all should be fairly intuitive, like buttons that just perform an instant action, sliders that you can drag, checkboxes, color pickers, virtual sliders. If you want to enter numerically, you can either double click or hold the control key down and then enter the value numerically. A regular drag is kind of like a medium value change. Shift drag is like a fast value change. And alt drag is like a fine value change. Next, let's cover the various viewers that are available for previewing data. First is the main viewer. We can configure the aspect ratio and view various channels. Let me undock this to better illustrate the aspect ratio settings. So if I do height, then height will automatically scale the width based on the height and keep the original aspect ratio. Width does the same, but in the width direction. And then free disregards the aspect ratio altogether. You can just distort it and move it to any size you want. In channels, we can preview the main RGB stream. We can preview the individual streams, so red, green, blue, alpha channel if it has one available, and the luminance. You can also hold the control key down and inspect individual pixels. It'll give you information about the actual original resolution of the image, its U and V coordinates, its pixel coordinates, the RGB value at that location, and the hue saturation value. Next up is the histogram viewer. This will show you a real-time histogram preview. You can turn individual channels on and off. And there are various menu features to scale and turn different features on and off. The other one is the JSON viewer. So this takes the output from the JSON data and allows you to preview it. If it has fields that can be easily parsed and shown, it'll show them in a table type view. Otherwise, you can show the raw data. In raw mode, you can also right-click in here and copy that JSON data to a clipboard. Another viewer that I'll just cover briefly right now and have a more detailed video later is the 3D depth viewer. So this will take the 3D depth view from your 3D camera and show you the point cloud. You can move around in the view. There's some settings to change the point size. Turn on diffuse shading. If you don't have a color image, this can help to visualize it a bit better and so it doesn't look so flat. Various modes in the viewer. You can change the field of view. You can change from an orbit mode to a fly mode. And some other settings that I won't go into right now. There are additional app settings that we can change to customize the app. Set the recent file history size. It shows how many files in the recent history list are shown. The flow buffer count, which is how many threads are allocated when flows branch. Whether we use vsync or not in the UI. Show the FPS for the current UI redraw. And add extra paths for plugin searching. When you save this configuration, you'll need to restart the app for the changes to take effect. That's it for the FlowCV intro. Thanks for watching.